Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. When I hear young people say sometimes, school has come, I laugh. It would have been very funny if it were not so pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And sometimes they give examples with, oh, look at so person, he dropped out of school and he became a multi-billionaire. Look at that person. And they give example after example. But many times you see, people don't even investigate things before they just swallow them, believe them, and act on them. Those people they are mentioning, some of them dropped out of Harvard. Now, poor man picking, they go Harvard. Then number two, when they left their schools, what did they go to do? Did they go to sleep and hoping that somehow life will turn out well for them? No, they took on a different kind of education. Now, having been a lecturer for 35 years, of course, I know how and why some people have arrived at that point where they say school has come. Because also, I have seen some of my students graduate, and on the graduation day, they are breaking their biros, they are tearing up their books. They say, oh, thank God, I never have to touch any other book in my entire life. What is calm? What is calm? The thing about schooling is that it just opens you up to be able to now learn. That is why in some climes, graduation ceremonies are called commencement service. Commencement means that now your education begins. Because what school does is that it opens up your mind. It opens up your mind so that you can think. And the thing about it, my dear young friend, is that ideas rule the world. One idea can send a man to prison for the rest of his life. Yet one great idea can turn the whole trajectory of another man's life. Now, but great ideas come to fertile minds. And one thing that school does for you is that it opens up your mind to great ideas. So now you can think. Now you can get into what is called critical thinking. I want you to think of this thing. So two men work in a very big company. One resumes at about 6 a.m. and doesn't close till about 6 p.m. Okay? And he works throughout the day, and then at the end of the month, they pay him 50,000. Another comes in to work about 8, 9 and close about 4, 5, and then they pay him 5 million. And the one who earns 50K says, this is not fair. Why is that man being paid so much money, whereas I'm just here doing more work? Now, switch their roles. This man who earns 50K happens to be the janitor or the gate man. Send him to that man's office who earns that large sum of money. Put him behind the desk. You will see why that man is being paid so much money and why the janitor is being paid only 50K. Because your reward in life is directly proportional to your contribution. And let me tell you, the people who contribute the most to any establishment are people who do with their minds. Because this janitor work, anybody can do it. But the work that you are going to do with your mind, not everybody can do it. So, what schooling does for you is that apart from giving you a certificate that you really don't have to use, to be honest. So if you are saying school is scam because you are thinking, oh, this Nigeria, where am I going to get a job? You don't have to use your certificate. That's not even the great part about schooling, that you get a certificate. The great part about schooling is that now you have learned habits. You have learned habits of work, habits of thinking, habits of correlating ideas, okay? And then what begins to happen is that by the time you leave school, you can now start your own proper education, where you are now beginning to read up on areas that you really need. Now, but because your mind is already programmed to such high level of thoughts, it becomes easy. And this is why, my dear friend, I want to say to you, all of you, my young friend, school no be scam. School no be scam. You get too much to gain. by schooling. And those of you who have, gone to school and then you are under the mistaken idea that you already have all the information that you need, now you in high school go be scammed for. Because that you went to school doesn't mean you already have all the knowledge. Or that you go to sleep and then the ideas you need for that incredible life God has for you will just flow to you. No, they happen like that. You must make up your mind. This incredible tool that God has given me called my mind, I must put it to use. And when I go to school, I open it up. That is why those of you that are in school now, don't play with it. Settle down. Go for your courses. Read. I read like a crazy girl when I was in school. And then your mind opens. And one thing about the law of the mind is that once the mind has been expanded by a new idea, it never returns to its original dimensions. This, all thinkers through generations agree on. That the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is in the use of their mind. Comprehend? God bless you. And go do it.